Okay, hello. This is the first tutorial on interface within Maya. Once you open Maya up, you have this interface here. We have off to the side tool settings, which you can open and close with a little button up here. If we click all these off, all we have is just this main viewing panel, right? And then when we go up here, we can open up the attribute editor. And you'll see information displaying about whatever is selected. In this case, this cube, which is called polycube 1. And I can see all sorts of dimensions. We'll go over that more in a moment. If I hit the tool settings, it will give me all of these tool settings that I have for whatever tool is selected. At this moment, it's the select tool. And the select tool itself has multiple different ways to select things, which we will also go over in a little bit. And then we have the channel box or layer editor, which isn't in itself a very important window also. It gives me some more information on the location of my object that's selected, as well as how to what layers might be made. At the moment I have no layers, so there's no layers showing. And this kind of shows this general interface of the main screen. Up at top, of course, you have your file, edit, modify, create, display, and window, which will allow us to work with all sorts of different little panel sets. And whenever you open up a window, you can click on these dotted lines and it will pop it out, and you can kind of then mess with it. So if you have windows that you want to use, you can kind of set them up around your workspace and do whatever you need to do with them. Right below that is sort of a little mediator toolbar here, where we can grab and we can drag it around if we want, and then to put it back in place, say you just kind of put it back, push it back up in there, say, so I can be like messing with it and put it back in. I can kind of adjust them around. So there's a lot of versatility in how you set up your windows in Maya. There's also a couple of functions in here that are very important. For example, you'll notice that file, edit, modify. If I switch polygons to, say, animation, I get animate. If I go to polygons, I get select and mesh. These are different tools for different things. So surfaces, they have their own sets of window menus up at the top that will change as you move through them. Rendering has lighting, and you can set up paint effects and cameras. We're mostly going to be utilizing polygons and animation, but these other ones, it's good to know that they're there. I'm going to go back to polygons since that's kind of, I got a little box. So now I've got all these mesh, edit mesh, and these change. So it's just important to know, not necessarily what these do just yet, but that they do change. And then we've got bars. These right here are custom bars. You got kind of a general bar, a polygon bar, surfaces, curves. I personally have a custom bar where I drag things in, so I have all these different little tools I can click on and work with stuff. These are just nice for sort of like little visual cues that you can click on. Instead of having to look things up in my edit mesh or whatever, wherever I go up here, I can just kind of click on some of these. Kind of helps streamline the process. Here are lights that I can just click on. So this custom bar, I encourage you to use it as much as you like. It's very useful. Don't be afraid of that. And then we have this sideline bar, which has some of the tools for different things. This first one's select. This one's a lasso. This one's the last selected tool is what that one will do. So whatever I select, it'll be the last selected. This is the move tool, or as it's known it's translate. That's why we see the translate over here. So if I select a translate, I can translate my object, and you'll see that the translate X, I'm moving along the X axis, 16.417 or whatever, right? So that's what that does. Control Z will bring it back. Actually, just Z will bring it back too. Then we have rotate. We have scale, and each one of these has sort of different settings in the tool panel. Not a lot of differences, but some important ones. So you just need to keep that in mind, that there are differences to the tool settings. This is scale. You make things bigger, smaller. And see, each of them have like little visual representations as well on the screen. See? And those will make more sense as we go further along. These right down here allow you to sort of partition perspectives. So, for example, I can have a foreview. So now I've got sort of a I have a front, a top, and a side, as well as this little perspective view. And if I hit spacebar when hovering my mouse over one of these, it'll just go back to that. See? So spacebar is a good way to kind of move around. And we're going to talk some more in a moment here about moving around in Maya. Okay? So there we go for this.